So we had the Aaron Rodgers 2-minute run, Joe Flacco's Linsanity run, and Taylor Swift infiltrating the NFL. The 2023 season was filled with ups and downs, and looking back at it, I can't find any notable games that I can remember off the top of my head, besides all the crazy storylines that happened this season. So with that, my goal is to crown what was the best game of the 2023 NFL season. How this is going to work is I'm going to scale each game based off 3 categories. Each game will be ranked on a scale of 5 based on the stakes and what made the game so significant, the notable plays and intensity of the game, and the storylines that came out of it. With that, let's introduce our contenders for the best game of the 2023 NFL season. The 3 games I decided to choose was the Rams vs Ravens matchup in Week 14, the Bills vs Eagles matchup in Week 12, and the Buccaneers vs the Texans in Week 9. The first game we're going to go over was this back and forth matchup between the Texans and Buccaneers, which finished in a 39-37 result in favor of the Texans. For the stakes, what made this game so significant? For the Buccaneers, at this point in the season, they were a game behind the Saints for the top spot of the NFC South, even though all the teams were pretty weak. For the Texans, they were competing to maintain a wildcard spot, especially after losing to the winless Panthers the week before. This game brought them back to AFC South competition, which was headed by Jacksonville for majority of the season. I'll give this a 3 because the stakes for this team weren't in full competitive mode at that point in the season, as a win for both teams meant they would just continue swimming for playoff contention. Maybe down the line this would have scored higher. For notable plays, this game was filled with notable plays like CJ Stroud's 75-yard touchdown pass to Noah Brown, who evaded the defender and outran the safety for a touchdown. Also, Stroud would have a perfect back of the end zone pass to Tank Dell. On top of this, Baker would find Mike Evans down the field to set up Rachaad White's second touchdown of the game. Now, while forgotten, Baker did find Cade Otton in the end zone on a 14-yard touchdown pass that seemed to be the go-ahead touchdown pass with 40 seconds left in the game to put the Buccaneers up 4. However, after a chunk play to Noah Brown and finding Tank Dell on a corner route to put the Texans in the red zone, CJ Stroud would throw the game-winning touchdown to his fellow rookie Tank Dell. Wow. For my score for the notable plays, I'm going to be giving this game a 4, and even though this game had some amazing plays, some of the other games on this list had some even crazier plays. The main storyline that came out of this game is that it was truly CJ Stroud's first stardom game. He would throw for a single game NFL rookie record for passing yards in a game with 470, surpassing Andrew Luck's previous record of 433. On top of this, he would throw for 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the game, including the aforementioned game-winning touchdowns with 6 seconds left on the clock. This game showed that Houston's short rebuild paid off, as Stroud was looking to be the superstar quarterback they hoped they'd draft. With that, I had to give this game a 4. Now, why is that? It was great to see Baker play at a high level again. However, you don't hear much about the Tampa side of the game, which is why I can't give it the perfect score like I gave notable plays. For the stakes, what made this game so significant was the fact that the Ravens at this point in the season needed to keep up their pace in the standings for the AFC North and the AFC as a whole. Going into this week, every team in the North was over .500 and in playoff contention. And even though the Ravens had a 2-game lead in the North, their remaining 5 games left in the season were all against playoff contention teams, including the second AFC seeded Dolphins and the first seed in the NFC, the 49ers. On top of this, 2 weeks before, the Ravens had an embarrassing loss to the Browns where they gave up a multiple score lead in the second half and had an unconvincing win against the Chargers the week before. For the Rams, they were riding a 3-game win streak to propel themselves back into wildcard contention. Now, while competing for the division looked out of the picture, getting Matthew Stafford and Kyren Williams back propelled this offense back to their Sean McVay ways with back-to-back 30-point outings. I'm going to score this game a 4 as well, as one team was fighting to stay on top of their division and conference, and a loss for the Rams made their playoff hopes slimmer. We all saw how this ended up for them. Buckle in here because there were so many notable plays in this game. This game had all the highlight reel plays you could ask for. On the offensive side, we had Odell Beckham Jr. starting the game off, showing off his amazing ball tracking skills, and Lamar taking advantage of a blown coverage by the Rams as tight end Isaiah Likely showed off his wheels, outrunning the whole Rams secondary. Now, Demarcus Robinson also had this amazing catch as he climbed the ladder to high point the ball over 2 Raven defenders. And Stafford had this amazing back foot loft touchdown to Cooper Kupp in the back of the end zone. The Ravens followed this drive with a Lamar Jackson bomb down the field to a wide open Odell Beckham. But now just look at this route as he had Jordan Fuller absolutely lost. Now let's give some love to the defense as Kyle Van Noy sniffed out and hit stick this Kyren Williams screen pass. However, with 6 minutes left in the game, the Rams and Puka Nacua had arguably the catch of the year with this amazing driving catch that put the Rams outside the red zone, which was followed up with Demarcus Robinson capping off this drive with a touchdown against his former team. Now, down 5 points with 4 minutes left in the game, Lamar Jackson and company would drive down the field, but they were faced with a 3rd and 17 due to the Rams forcing an intentional grounding call. And with the game on the line, Lamar Jackson throws an absolute dart to Zay Flowers streaking across the field, who would score an octopus off this amazing Lamar Jackson 2-point play. Look how he got hit on the play and threw an absolute dart. Now, down 3 points, Cooper Kupp mosses Marlon Humphrey to put the Rams in field goal range to tie the game. And Marlon Humphrey would give everyone watching this game a heart attack, as everyone thought that he had the game-winning interception, but he dropped it. Now, in overtime, after both offenses stalled on their first drive, Tylan Wallace decided to put the game into his own hands and had this amazing punt return touchdown to win the game.
Takes it down the sideline. He stays in bounds. He stays on his feet. He takes it all the way and ends the game.
Wow, that was a lot. I feel like it's only justified if we give this game a 5 for the notable plays. The walk-off touchdown itself makes this game deserving. So what storylines came out of this game? This game helped us solidify Lamar Jackson's case to be top 3 in the MVP race with Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. The Ravens' team didn't improve much, as they went into this game expecting to handle business. For the Rams, it showed that they can compete with the NFL's best and that this offense was back. However, I feel as if these storylines were already known going into these games, and it only helped to support these cases. With that, I'll be giving this game a 3 for the storylines. Our final game on our list is the Week 12 matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles, which was a 37-34 showdown in favor of the Eagles. For the stakes of this game, the Bills went into this game 6-5 after a rough month, dropping games to the Bengals, Broncos, and Patriots. They had 1 to 2 more games they could afford to lose this season if they wanted to stay in the playoff, which is funny to look back on, as they went undefeated the rest of the season to claim the 2nd seed in the AFC. However, at the time, this game looked like a must-win, especially with teams like the Browns, Broncos, Bengals, Steelers, Texans all starting to heat up for wildcard spots. For the Eagles, they were looking like the team to beat at this point in the season. They were 9-1 coming off a win against the reigning champion Chiefs. The Eagles were looking to maintain the first seed in the NFC against the 49ers, who they had a 2-game cushion over. Another threat to them was the Cowboys in their own division, who were 2 games behind them in the NFC East. Both teams were slowly creeping towards the Eagles. However, at this point, it seemed to be smooth sailing for Philadelphia. And even though they didn't want to drop this game, they could afford it and still have breathing room. Because of this, I'll be giving the game a 3 for its stakes, as it meant way more for the Bills than it did the Eagles, and often felt insignificant. For the notable plays, the first true notable play of the game, and since I refused to count any tush pushes, was Terrell Bernard's tip drill interception that would lead to a Josh Allen rushing touchdown. Josh Allen also had this beautiful laser to Gabe Davis that would not pay off thanks to Tyler Bass doing his best Billy Cundiff impression.
32 yards to tie it. And the kick, look out, it's no good.
The Bills' defense would come huge for them again, as they would force a fumble off a bad exchange between Hurts and Kenneth Gainwell, and this would lead the Bills to go up 10 points going into halftime thanks to this Josh Allen throw between 2 defenders to the Stephon Diggs. The Eagles would score in the third, but Josh Allen followed that with this amazing pump fake and run for a touchdown, and on the next drive, the Eagles would follow this Bills drive with a Devontae Smith leaping touchdown over 3 defenders. Then, James Bradbury would jump to Stephon Diggs' crow route to intercept Josh Allen, then looking to at least tie the game, Jalen Hurts would lob it up for Falcons legend Olamide Zaccheaus, who would moss 2 Bills defenders to put the Eagles up 4. Now the Bills would drive down the field and score a touchdown with under 2 minutes left in the game thanks to this Josh Allen touchdown pass to Gabe Davis off an RPO to put them up 3. Now the Eagles would match us with a 59-yard field goal thanks to this Jake Elliott absolute boot of a field goal. Now the Bills would get the ball first in overtime, and we all know the rules: if you score first you win, and with a chance to win the game thanks to a roughing the passer call, on 3rd and 7 Josh Allen and Gabe Davis would have a miscommunication in the end zone as Gabe Davis ran the corner route and Josh Allen threw it to the post. Situations like this always come back to bite teams in the NFL, as the Eagles would drive down the field and score thanks to a Jalen Hurts game-winning 12-yard rushing touchdown. Now this game was jam-packed. It doesn't do enough justice what I went over. And the initial 2 things I thought when I decided to use this game was that overtime ending, so I had to give this game a 5. Now the storylines that came out of this game was that there was a lot of controversy about the Buffalo Bills. There were questions on if the Bills were finished. Also, questions about Stephon Diggs' relationship with the team came to surface as well, as fans noticed that Diggs wouldn't even be in the game for a lot of crucial 3rd downs this game. This game brought the Bills back to 6-6, and they were out of the playoffs at the time of this game, creating mini panic for some fans. Now the Eagles truly looked like the team to beat though this season, which is funny because after this game came all the troubles with both of their coordinators. If anything, I would argue that this game made the coordinators feel a little too confident, as there were some weaknesses that were exposed in both sides of the ball, and we all saw the downfall of the Eagles this season. While not the most interesting things to come out, seeing at the time of how the Bills fans react to this was hilarious, but I gotta give this game a 3. After totaling our final scores, that we see that there's a tie for 2nd and 3rd place with the Bills-Eagles game and the Texans-Buccaneers game with a score of 11. And I'm going to give the edge to 2nd place to the Bills-Eagles game. I just felt like this game was more significant and was more action-packed to it compared to that Buccaneers-Texans game. And it was cool to see CJ Stroud finally break out, but I personally just thought and enjoyed the Bills-Eagles game a little bit more, giving our best game of the season to the Baltimore Ravens versus the Los Angeles Rams games with a score of 12. I mean, anytime you have a walk-off punt return touchdown, that's gotta mean something, right? Do you agree with our rankings? If you don't agree, make sure to comment down below if we rank these games wrong or if we completely missed out on a game that should have been included. I want to thank everyone for watching, and if this does well enough, I'll do the worst games of the season.